Good evening, everybody. I'm Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers. We have a tornado-warned storm. This is going to be Stanford, the main mesocyclone just south of Stanford, Texas. Let's go ahead and take a look at this storm. This is a dangerous storm. It could produce a tornado. We don't have a confirmed tag on it at this moment, but this storm kind of kicked off this outflow boundary, and as soon as it interacted with the outflow boundary, it started to spin up, and getting a little late start setting this up, but we did have likely a tornado at 10:40, so this is about 20 minutes ago, and caught it when it went warned here, but I've been setting things up for emergency coverage. David Reimer is actually chasing tornadoes in Oklahoma. We'll talk a little bit about Oklahoma here shortly, but we do have a tornado warning in Texas to focus on first and foremost. I'm going to just go ahead and check and make sure we have audio. And if you can't hear me, let me know. But I'm filling in for David Reimer this evening. I'm meteorologist Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers. This little makeshift setup this evening. And did not expect to be doing this, but we do have a tornado warning to talk about in the state of Texas. And like all things in Texas, they must be discussed, especially in the spinny department. I know I'm not going to actually steal David's wording all the way. Especially in the spinny. Oh, hey, look, audio sounds good. All right, I just had to check audio, make sure I'm sounding good on your end of things. Again, filling in for David Reimer here. I'm Jason Cooley. We're looking at this tornado-warned storm now southeast of Stanford. The main area of rotation would be here southeast of Stanford, but it's really pushing out lots of outflow. You could actually see this little bit of kind of a curvy curl thing coming out the south side of it. That is probably a lot of outflow pushing out, undercutting this updraft now. And when I started this presentation, I actually said that this storm kind of crossed a boundary here and got kicked off. So look at this right here, this feature fine line, as we call it. That is where the main outflow winds have kind of pushed way out in front of this complex of storms. You can see that fine line pretty well depicted by radar. That fine line, again, well out ahead to the east of these storms. So this certain situation here is where this outflow boundary actually got dragged right into this updraft of the Stanford, Texas storm. And as soon as it interacted with that outflow boundary or gust front, that's when it spun up. And it certainly had a tornado 15 to 20 minutes ago south of Stanford. Hopefully no damage there with that stuff. As of right now, 11:02 p.m., we do not... well, we could still have a tornado that might try to spin up there, but that couplet that we saw real tight, let me show you back again 15-20 minutes ago. It was a very tight, distinct couplet that really got wrapped up. There is 10:43, 10:40, so might have had this down for a couple of minutes here. Again, that was about 10:43 p.m. when the radar detected likely tornado there south of Stanford. Now we're kind of getting more messy again. Like I said, that outflow from the storm is just kind of pushing this. It's basically undercutting the updraft, but we're not quite out of the woods. It just doesn't look as organized as it did 15 minutes ago, right before I was able to start things up with coverage here today. So again, I want to thank you all for joining me, Jason Cooley, Texas Storm Chasers and Texas Weather Center, filling in for David Reimer, Baldy in Chief. He's chasing tornadoes in Oklahoma. We actually have a little more profound of a tornado warning. Thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you for letting me know. Ooh, tornado I-35 near the Red River. Oh, that is not good. Thank you very much, Ryan. We're going to take a look at what our staff member Ryan just sent. Oh, that is bad news. Look at this I-35 corridor from basically the Red River, and this is a horrible radar sampling area, but we have a large tornado. Well, I might not say large. We have large tornadoes in Oklahoma. Now this tornado, it's warned on the Oklahoma side, but this coupler is literally right over the Red River. Again, thank you to staff member Ryan, who just caught my attention of that. Yeah, tornado just west of Interstate 35 near the Red River, probably literally right on the Texas-Oklahoma border. So it's warned on the Oklahoma side, but apparently we just had a confirmed report. Thank you again, Ryan, as this is crossing into Oklahoma west of 35. Let me tell you something. It's a literal nightmare tonight in the state of Oklahoma. Our friends up north. It is a nightmare. Flash flooding, multiple destructive tornadoes, some large, maybe mile-wide tornadoes, especially farther north. Some of these storms have actually started over the northern DFW metroplex, and then they flew north in Oklahoma, and now here they are flying almost to I-40. And this is again, this is Oklahoma, guys. This is Interstate 40 here. Our friends in Oklahoma have been in some dire straits this evening. Very, very sad situation unfolding as it turns out. We were kind of skeptical for a while, but now things have really kicked off after dark. This large tornado approaching Okemo, Oklahoma. Again, we have a tornado warning in the state of Texas to focus on, but our thoughts and prayers are with folks in Oklahoma. We also did have a very large tornado from Knox City and Seymour, Texas earlier this afternoon. David Reimer was relentlessly covering that. Jenny Brown, Trey Greenwood, Brett Wright, they were in the vicinity of that storm and other tornado-warned storms all the way up to Electra and the Red River. And got a lot of rain-wrapped, hardly visible tornadoes and crazy mesocyclone structure. But it's been a long day in northwest Texas, and then activity all the way up Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, even Wisconsin this evening. And now Oklahoma's taking a pretty serious hit. We're going to turn our attention back to Texas. This tornado-warned storm, I don't expect it will remain tornado-warned once the warning expires. We'll have to see. There's still some an inflow notch here. That inflow notch, I'm just gonna call it I don't even know what I'm typing anymore. I'm scattered brain. Inflow notch here. This is indicating that at least elevated thunderstorm, really organized. Now at the surface, might beg to differ. This storm does appear to be advancing north of that gust front. The gust front is where all those storms are pushed out, kind of cooler air way out in front of the storm complex. And then once this storm kind of interacted with that gust front, it spun up. Certainly had a tornado, 10:45, southwest of Stanford, Texas. By the time I was able to set things up and go live, that tornado was gone, ladies and gentlemen. But again, David Reimer is busy chasing tornadoes in central to south central Oklahoma. Didn't think we were going to have to deal with really anything in the way of tornado warning in Texas this evening, but kind of one of those mesoscale accidents. We had a storm just kind of basically, well, I'll play it back as far as I can here. This storm had just been early in development here, and it quickly started rotating. Basically was attached to that gust front area, and when it really interacted with that gust front, that updraft, it used that vorticity, the spin in the atmosphere. So that gust front is enhanced spin. A thermal gradient like that adds vorticity advection. So that vorticity basically went right into that storm updraft, spun it up, tightened, and produced a very likely tornado. If radar had anything to say about it, it's probably about 10-minute tornado, maybe less, but yeah, certainly this thing had a pretty solid tornado signature there, southwest of Stanford. Again, quarter to 11. Now we're talking about multiple tornadoes in Oklahoma, some rather large and dangerous, and of course at night. So the story now for the state of Texas: wind, hail. We still can't rule out a couple more of these situations with tornadoes spinning up. David Reimer's out there chasing in Oklahoma, fairly close to home. Now, as of 11:10 p.m., we have multiple severe thunderstorms from Sheffield, Texas, approaching Ozona, Texas, Barnhart, Texas. Wind, hail, nothing super extreme. We're going to watch that storm all the way down near Interstate 10, going to go into the Concho Valley here. Pretty rigorous amount of hail and wind. Radar scope crashed. Cool. Feel like David today. Poor David. Everybody give props to David Reimer, though, working with just everything breaking on him. He stuck it out for like 6 hours. Covered some large tornadoes in northwest Texas, near Seymour and Knox City. He gave warnings all the way up to Electra. Kind of called it a night after everything crossed the Red River, and now that everything's in Oklahoma, it's turning out to be a nocturnal outbreak up there. We'll talk about that after we discuss kind of everything going on in Texas. Again, this being a Texas-based channel, we're going to focus on Texas events, but our friends up north might have quite a dangerous situation unfolding tonight, so we might kind of touch and go on it a little bit up there in Oklahoma. But let's take a look at this storm. Big Lake, Texas. Severe hailers, some damaging winds, a little bit of embedded rotation as well in the storm. Now just east of Big Lake, Texas. So folks in Big Lake, you probably just had some pretty gnarly rain, maybe some hail, wind, and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. Big Lake, Texas, you're going to be in the clear here soon. Folks that live kind of out here, a little bit of a desolate area. There's some farmland, some, believe, like nothing but cows and hills and stuff. Not a whole lot of civilization once you get out east, northeast of Big Lake. But this storm, we can't rule out this tightening up, this little bit of a circulation here. We do have somewhat broad, weak rotation now just east of Big Lake. The question is that storm even remotely surface-based? I would bet it is just barely on that storm's kind of outflow boundary. We call this a kind of a bookend, if you will. A bookend vortex where that inflow will kind of get pulled into the top side of a storm, wrap around. But in advanced meteorology aside, we'll keep an eye on that Big Lake storm. Again, Big Lake will be in the clear, but for all intensive purposes, we'll refer to it as the Big Lake storm. Storms coming into Robert Lee, where Chelsea's relatives live. That storm is undercut, but it's going to have strong winds, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and perhaps some isolated damaging hail. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect in that area. That's going to be potentially 3/4 to 1 inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. So wind being the most concerning issue there. Just want to point out, Okemo, Oklahoma, get to shelter now. Okemo, Oklahoma. I know this is a Texas channel, but anybody listening from Oklahoma that has friends, family in Okemo, it is a dire straight situation. Please tell them to get to shelter now. Back to Texas, we have a tornado warning still sticking around like a booger here. Stanford's now going to be east of Stanford. For some reason, as the storm is running out of the tornado warning, we're still hanging on to that warning box, but I wouldn't bet on another issuance. Now, these storms are within a tornado watch, and this tornado watch does have 3 hours 45 minutes left on it. So, we're not out of the woods. A lot of these storms are undercut, as I've stated before. This gust front that protrudes well out in front of these storms pretty much undercuts all these updrafts from being surface-based, anything sustainable for tornadoes, out the window. But quarter to 11, we had one storm that interacted with that gust front. Lo and behold, it actually probably produced a tornado. If the radar was right, I'm sure it was. We had a tornado very likely between Anson and Stanford, Texas, quarter to 11. By the time I shuffled everything, got ready, and went live, that was a history lesson. But we'll continue to monitor all of these storms. Lots of severe weather in the state of Texas this evening. Folks, we'll go ahead and touch you. Olney, Texas, eventually Newcastle. Got a little bit of gusty winds. These winds probably are going to range in the 50 to 60 mile per hour gust range. Not seeing anything holy guacamole with that activity, but scanning further northeast, Wichita Falls, you're going to be in the clear. Still some lingering rain and lightning. Probably a cool backside of the storm lightning show. Anvil crawlers galore. I'm sure from Electra, Burke Burnett to Wichita Falls, Holiday. Y'all probably getting positive CGs out the backside of the storm. Anvil crawlers. It's probably a beautiful show back there if you're into lightning photography. Now let's briefly. Now I know we're a Texas channel, but you guys got to just get a hold of this. What's it saying? Get a load of this. I think my wife's asleep. So, but we have a tornado warning. We have a pretty serious situation unfolding in Oklahoma. Our friends up north, our second largest viewing population, as far as geographical sampling goes, is Oklahoma. Of course, by far more Texas viewers, obviously, that come to this channel. But this is a crazy, serious situation going on in Oklahoma now. Very sobering to see this going on. We have confirmed tornadoes. Tornado warning in Love County, Oklahoma. This is crossing Interstate 35 near Marietta. Please just don't even go in Oklahoma. Anywhere between Pauls Valley and Windstar Casino right now. Just stay out of the way of this stuff. Hunker down. A lot of this super dangerous stuff is now east of Interstate 35, but this Marietta storm, it's probably producing a tornado right over I-35 right now. Radar data is horrible here. I can't even emphasize enough how awful radar data is here in this area, but well far away from the Oklahoma City radar, far away from the Dallas-Fort Worth radar, and we do not have access to the Durant, Oklahoma private radar, at least on radar scope. And then we're just gonna have to kind of go off of the reflectivity. I know it's kind of grainy data here, but we're gonna have multiple tornadoes. Ardmore's been hit twice by tornadoes in the last hour. Injuries reported, lots of damage. David Reimer is in the Sulphur area. He reported that his ears were popping. He got in the perhaps outer circulation of a tornado, and now there's another tornado likely coming into Sulphur at the moment. I mean, I don't even know where David Reimer is. Where's David Reimer? David Reimer's back in Ardmore, so he's probably gonna see this Marietta storm, this Marietta, Oklahoma storm. Looks like yeah, David's over here in Ardmore, and he's dropping south on 35. Going to see what's going on with this Marietta storm, but we have a debris signature to 17,000 feet above the ground. So this thing is tossing trees, roofs, siding. Pretty dangerous situation right now. Interstate 35, Marietta, Oklahoma. Multiple tornado warnings, tornadoes wrapped in rain, tornado after tornado, trains of tornadoes near Sulphur, Hickory, Roth, Fitzhugh. Ada, I mean, I'm not sure if a tornado hit Ada, but we have perhaps tornadoes coming your way, Ada, Oklahoma. Okemah, it's too late. Okemah, it's too late to do anything. You have to be in tornado shelter now. Very serious situation there. Okemah, Oklahoma. Tornadoes right over you guys now. Let's go ahead and take a look at correlation coefficient. Well, yeah, debris ball, or the correlation coefficient drop out right there as this tornado went in Okemah. So we would just have to kind of wait and see what that will entail here as it interacts with structures in Okemah, Oklahoma, and Interstate 40. But yeah, this is gut-wrenching to see. Oklahoma, tornado actually went through Norman, Oklahoma, hit the airport, luckily weak. So, as you can tell, my focus might have shifted Oklahoma for a bit, but I just had to touch on what's going on. And also, you might see tornado video from David Reimer here this evening. So we'll see what he's doing with that. In fact, I could ask him right now if unless he's stupid busy with driving in traffic and flooding. Oh, let's see if I can actually make this. Hey David, I'm doing live coverage for Texas, but I was touching on Oklahoma. I see you're in Ardmore. What are you up to? Let's see if he responds. Wouldn't really bet on it because we're ill-prepared for whatever this is. Him chasing and me doing coverage. It's just really backwards right now. But I have a 3-day-old baby, so my butt is staying at home. I probably wouldn't be out chasing that stuff in Oklahoma this evening anyway. I might, but I'm glad I'm not, because that's actually scary stuff. I mean, I can do without seeing a tornado at night that's doing damage and injuring people and flooding and stuff like that. Ugh. Well, I've been talking your ears off. I got 260 folks watching on the Texas Storm Chasers YouTube. We're going to go ahead and discuss things to expect here shortly. Oh, look, I got 1,500 people watching on Facebook. Hey, guys. Again, if you know people in Oklahoma, Interstate 35 corridor, literally from Windstar all the way up to Oklahoma City, check on them. Please check on them. Sulphur to Okemah, Oklahoma. If you know anybody that lives there, check on them. Because, Okemah looks to have had a wide tornado come into town. Now, not saying it was an EF5 or even an EF3. It looks like the intensity, the magnitude of that velocity, although very wide, the magnitude of those velocities didn't necessarily look extreme. So let's just pray for the best there. Folks in Okemah, I-40 corridor in Oklahoma. Back to Texas, we're going to recap what's going on now and what we can expect overnight. Back to the Big Lake activity, east of Big Lake now, Barnhart, Texas. As this activity comes toward the Concho Valley and northern Edwards Plateau, we're going to have possibly large hail. This hail core north of Ozona, again, there's not a whole lot of civilization going on out here. I've chased through there many a time, but farmland, some folks driving through, some vastly populated, few and far between people out there. Just heads up, you're going to have some gusty winds up to 70 miles per hour and perhaps 1 inch diameter hail. Let's see, this thing is warned for Are you going to tell me? Let's see. I don't think we're going to hear from David Reimer, but David Reimer's chasing a tornado in Marietta, Oklahoma right now, so I don't really need to get an answer from him. I know what he's doing. 1 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds. This storm, basically from Ozona, Texas, about to be Ozona, Texas, on the I-10 corridor, all the way up into the western Concho Valley, east of Big Lake, through Barnhart, west of Mertzen. 60 mile per hour winds, possibly 1 inch diameter hail. So quarter-sized hail. Maybe something, can't roll out a couple of ping pongs here in this more intense area of reflectivity there, north of Ozona. We go ahead and switch over to we use vertically integrated liquid to kind of depict where that greatest density of precipitation is. Greatest density right where I pointed out. Again, kind of not a whole lot of population out here, but anybody traveling on this roadway, I know that's helpful. That roadway would be the US 190. So congratulations, US 190 and the random tanker, trucker, whatever going through there right now. You're getting hail. Quarters, maybe even a couple of ping pongs in there. Tornado risk, very low at this moment. This storm, we'll watch it for QLCS potential. That's quasi-linear, I almost said quasi-geostrophic, quasi-linear convective system. And that is where you have these lines of storms, but you have embedded vortices kind of on the outer edge of it. So it's almost like a linear line. When storms are just a line, that tornado threat really low. Quasi-linear, that's like, it's kind of like a line, but it's actually got some tornadoes in it. So QLCS, quasi-linear convective system, could be a tornado or two in that. Now this right now, I wouldn't say that's a QLCS, but I wouldn't say we're a straight as an arrow squall line either. Rigorous activity nonetheless, 60 mile per hour winds and inch-size hail north of Ozona, east of Big Lake, coming into the Concho Valley. Not really expecting problems in San Angelo, but we'll keep watch. Would be more concerned about maybe some hail and a little more stronger winds just north of the I-10 corridor. Again, that US 190 corridor north of Ozona, coming toward El Dorado. So that's what's happening in Texas. Again, we still have outflow dominant storms. Robert Lee getting rocked with 60 mile per hour winds. Maximum 60 mile per hour. I would look at observations. I don't have any reports of damage or anything chaotic. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm looking at those. Oh, that would be helpful if I turn that on. Okay, so Robert Lee, I'm not getting any severe weather reports. Report within the last hour of dime-sized hail in Sweetwater, Texas. Now the storms are in Abilene, so let's switch to the Dias Air Force Base radar. Well, that's a problem. So, problem here with, Abilene, you're getting strong winds entering town, 60 miles per hour, 62 miles per hour. This is pretty close to Dias Air Force Base and their radar. So, what we see here on radar, I-20, western Abilene, and we could have some 60 mile per hour winds coming into Abilene at this very moment. Same kind of goes for Holly, Texas. Holly. Impact, Texas, getting impacted by the 60 mile per hour winds right now. So severe thunderstorm warning in effect there, of course. Abilene. That is a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 44 minutes until 12:15 a.m. for 60 mile per hour winds. Might even have a couple gusts greater than that if radar has anything to say about it. This thing's kind of just a wind bag, especially up north. This time, no tornado warnings in the state of Texas. Let's go over here. We have tornado warning in Pontotoc County, Oklahoma. Carter and Murray County, Oklahoma. That's the tornado that David is chasing. No, David is chasing the Love County, Oklahoma. Let's see if we have anything. Overturned vehicles on Interstate 35 in Love County. So David's dealing with that again in Oklahoma. From the tornado debris in Oklahoma. Again, our tornado issues have only been in Oklahoma this evening, with the exception of a tornado about 45 minutes ago between Anson and Stanford, Texas, out in the northern big country. But right now we just have multiple tornado warnings. Again, Carter, Murray County, Carter, Johnston, and Murray County in Oklahoma, Love County, Pontotoc County, overlapping tornado warnings in Murray County. My college friend Mandy Bailey, who's a chief meteorologist at K10, who I also chase for at times, she's got her hands absolutely filled tonight in Texoma. Murray Creek, Okfuskee. Oh, man. That's why I can't be a weatherman. Okfuskee, Oklahoma. You gotta say that like 5 times to iron out how to say it. Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Okmulgee County, Oklahoma. We have multiple observed tornadoes. See, observed tornado, Carter, Love, Marshall County. Radar indicated tornado. Oh, I don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and look at the Love County, Oklahoma tornado right now that David is supposedly chasing. I've mentioned this before. Radar data is crap out here. No, it's prime time. It's after hours, so I said crap. Oh my goodness, what are we doing, Oklahoma? These storms are hitting the Red River, and they're just tornado. Marietta, Ardmore. Sulphur's had a couple tornadoes now. Roth. Oh, wow. Continuing tornado, large, dangerous tornado. Now it's come through Okemah, Oklahoma. It's north of Okemah. Oh, so it's already north of Okemah and north of I-40. It's gone through there, but that is quite the tornadic signature. Wide. And it's going to be headed now toward the I-44 corridor in the next 30 to 40 minutes in Sapulpa. And might get close to Tulsa. So if this thing goes to Tulsa, I'm going to be kind of hyper-focused on that, just because we have a few folks watching from Oklahoma. I know I'm not trying to spend time looking at states out other than Texas, but Oklahoma's our neighbors to the north. Well, we have somewhat of a significant evening tornado outbreak happening right now. So, yeah, again, we might have another tornado right where the one west of Marietta was not 20 minutes ago. Now we might have another tornado. Red River west of Marietta, Texas. Marietta, Oklahoma, sorry. Marietta, Oklahoma. Red River is the boundary, the border of Oklahoma and Texas. So again, this has been chiefly an Oklahoma issue where these storms fire up in North Texas and they fly in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden they're super insanity mode. Did not expect it to unfold this way at all. But yeah, we have tornadoes. David Reimer is probably attempting to get visual of these tornadoes south of Ardmore. Multiple damaging tornadoes have been near Marietta, Ardmore. Definitely sulfur to hit Fitzhugh. We've just kind of had a whole path of multiple tornadoes get laid out from Marietta to Holdenville to Okemah, now north of Okemah. So again, thoughts and prayers to Oklahoma people. Check on your friends and relatives up in Oklahoma. All right, guys, it's 11:36 p.m. Central. I'm Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers, filling in for David Reimer right now. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Texas. Now we're focusing on Texas, of course. We do have severe thunderstorm watch still in effect here. It's going to be a little while longer on that watch. In fact, 5.5 hours. So, but once these storms move through the watch, they might be able to chisel away at the west edge of it, and maybe they might be able to cancel that watch early, depending on how fast these storms move through the Concho Valley here. San Angelo, I'm not expecting anything super duper. Pretty hefty storm again north of Ozona. This is probably the most relative destructive storms in the state of Texas at this moment. Large hail up to the size of ping pongs. Had to get that fly. Seriously though, I can't do coverage with the fly in my face. No way. So probably up to ping pongs there between Ozona and Barnhart. Having fun on US 190 and Texas Route 163. And that's activities pushing east-southeast toward El Dorado or El Dorado. We will continue to monitor that. It has somewhat of a curly appearance. Could be where maybe we have a subtle inflow notch, or it could be just the way the storm looks. But this storm has had a history of some broad rotation on that north side, the bookend side of this. So we will monitor. One thing I want to see if I could do something here. Might be able to. How about I do that? It's gonna be a little better. Not beautiful. Again, this is kind of a makeshift situation here. There's absolutely no glamorous layout here with this coverage, because wasn't intending on doing coverage tonight. David Reimer has a full-fledged nocturnal tornado outbreak happening in Oklahoma that he's out there documenting for himself. He's trying to dodge flooded roadways. He's trying to dodge flipped semis on the highway. He's trying to dodge rain-wrapped wedge tornadoes. He's trying to dodge severe migraines and technological issues too, I'm sure. But props to him for doing several hours of coverage today. He covered a large tornado, Knox City to Seymour. Tornadoes near Electra as well. Northwest Texas was pretty active earlier. As of 11:39, still no tornado warnings in the state of Texas, but we will continue to provide some coverage here because we have somewhat impactful storms for sure. We have elevated, very intense storms. They're elevated, but they're very intense. This storm, again, coming through our Abilene, Texas, with up to 60 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts. Not seeing hail in this Abilene activity, but gusts are going to be above severe limits. And this is going to be parading down I-20. About to hit the Dyess Air Force Base radar near Moran, north of Putnam. So what can we expect? I saw some questioning. Now, I've seen person after person ask, DFW, are we expecting tornadoes in DFW? Now, while there was some panic that DFW was going to get supercellular tornadoes at some point today, luckily the lid on the atmosphere held all day and still holds. There's some showers, maybe some light showers. It could also be ground clutter, but I think we have very light passing showers here and there. Cap continues to hold, so these showers haven't gone absolutely bonkers until they interact with the Red River. And there is some truth to that. The Red River Valley enhancing vorticity, helicity, just because of the geographical features, can funnel winds in a certain direction, blah, 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 blah. And here we are with what was just junky little tiny baby cells in North Texas going north of Gainesville, and then all of a sudden they're dropping tornadoes, Marietta, Ardmore, Oklahoma, Sulphur. And then they get larger and larger. We've had large tornadoes, Sulphur, basically to Spalding, Holdenville, Okemah, Oklahoma. Oh, well, look at that. There's tornado warnings all the way north of Tulsa now. Quick look at Tulsa. Yeah, we have spin-ups way up northwest of Tulsa. The big kahuna, that's a word at times. The big kahuna is north of Okemah, Oklahoma, coming toward Slick and Beggs, Oklahoma. Eventually it's going to be a problem for Kellyville, Sapulpa, Oakhurst. And if it can last all the way to Tulsa, then that's going to be sad times. And not to be facetious, but I mean seriously, we don't want that going into Tulsa, Oklahoma. Wow. I know we're a Texas channel, but I mean this is within 50 miles of the state, just north of the border. Look at that. It's a mess. This is an absolute mess. Oh, and reflectivity doesn't want to work. Congratulations. Oh, wow, okay. Let's switch. If we can. Let me get this. There we go. Thank you. Everything's going tornadic north of the Red River. We've had these little cells. They start in North Texas, they fly north, and then all of a sudden they blow up like a bomb and they produce tornadoes. Significant tornadoes, damaging tornadoes, have caused injuries. I haven't heard of fatalities. But with the amount of tornadoes happening at night, crossing interstates, 35, Interstate 40, just praying that we don't have fatalities. Now, folks in Iowa and Nebraska made it through yesterday, I believe, without fatalities. So, I mean, it can be done. Numerous tornadoes. We're dealing with Oklahoma now being the main show of the day. Many hours ago, Northwest Texas was the show. Now, I know Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, they've had tornadoes too. The difference being, I'm discussing this because, one, Oklahoma, our second biggest viewer populace. Two, neighbors just to the north of us. Three, David Reimer's out there chasing. And four, this is a nocturnal outbreak, high impact, destructive issues going through larger towns in the state of Oklahoma. Alright, so it's 11:45, 11:45 p.m. I'm Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers. Welcome here to Texas Weather Center. I apologize for all the Oklahoma yip yap, but I'm sure y'all can forgive me because that's just a serious 911 situation happening literally on the Texas doorstep. But of course, it's all moving north, so it's outside of Texas by miles, mere miles. Severe winds and some hail will continue throughout central Texas, Concho Valley, Big Country to western North Texas. No tornado issues at this time, quarter to midnight. I'm going to roll the dice here and listen to David Reimer's voice message right now. I'm sure he wouldn't send NSFW stuff.
Abilene thrown onto 35. Wow, the poor old gas station finally got taken out. All right, understood. That's mile marker 15 or 16. I'm at mile marker 29. I'm going to go down to about mile marker 22. And there's an exit there. I just want to get a glance at this. Yeah, there is no power. I'm pretty sure the entire city of Ardmore is without now. The western half was. This storm just knocked out power. I'm pretty sure the whole eastern half of Love County.
All right, so serious issues happening in Texoma right now. We have likely another tornado. Again, radar data is just so garbage here. Split in between Oklahoma City and Dallas-Fort Worth. Just not getting good data quality. And I apologize. I mean, I could also be on the hunt for Durant, Oklahoma privatized radar data. I could have better software, I'm sure. I apologize on my end because I'm not prepared for super duper live coverage, 55 monitors in front of me. All I'm using is my laptop and a Yeti mic that David got me for Christmas. Well, he got me the microphone. I bought this laptop. But, yes, David is down in southern Oklahoma in a bit of a panic, flooding, crazy lightning, multiple nocturnal rain-wrapped tornadoes doing damage and injuring folks as well, unfortunately. Power outages galore. I believe that's OG&E is I don't remember. I used to live there. OG&E, they're going to have their hands full getting all that stuff back up and running in Oklahoma. Tornado through Norman, tornado through Okemah, tornado through Holdenville, Spalding. Multiple tornadoes near Sulphur, Oklahoma throughout this last hour. Ardmore over the last 90 minutes. Marietta, 2 or 3 now. State of Texas, we're just going to keep watching this activity as it drifts eastward toward the DFW metroplex. It's going to be well after midnight by the time this junk meanders this way. I say this way, but I live here in northern Dallas County here, so I'll be, I'll just be up probably waiting for the storm at this point. I'm surprised my newborn is sleeping with me yapping as loud as I am. She's 3 days old and she slept through this whole crazy random yelling thing I'm doing. But I'm filling in for David Reimer this evening. He's chasing tornadoes in south central Oklahoma. Still continuing to monitor the situation in the state of Texas, but of course, y'all are very well aware of Oklahoma issues by now. So we're going to let that be now. Just keep in mind, if you have friends or family in Oklahoma, check on them. Make sure they're okay. Make sure they know what's coming if they're in the way of that activity. We'll come back. Oh, boy. We'll come back to it. If that tornado makes it in the Tulsa metro, by default, I'll have to at least mention it. Once it gets into Kansas, I'm like, all right. Our viewing area is Texas, but we have a very small secondary viewing populace in the state of Oklahoma. In fact, we were supplying live streams of tornado development attempts west of Oklahoma City earlier from our chasers Stephen Jones, Adam Lucio, and Chelsea Burnett. And our photographers Brett Wright, Jenny Brown, chaser and meteorologist Trey Greenwood were chasing in northwest Texas, documenting those rain-wrapped tornadoes and pretty wild storm structure. Those storms were just mean earlier. David Reimer doing coverage for 7 hours. But now here we are, still doing the thing, talking about weather. This storm here in the Concho Valley and northern Edwards Plateau, still doing what it's been doing. Hasn't spun up into any spinny doom situations, but we have potentially quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So, the reflectivity suggested we might be talking about ping-pongs north of Ozona. Now this thing is kind of trended toward quarters, I would guesstimate. This is not going to be somewhere where we're going to even have people sampling the hail. No chasers. No random dude. We pretty much have nobody out there that can tell us how big that hail is. So it's all a guessing game. Let's look at the super duper vertically integrated liquid and see how that hail core's kind of been progressing. And if you live in the path of this storm, at least get away from windows. Probably have inch-size hail. Maybe some ping-pongs can last in that, but it's been kind of diving east-southeast along US 190. Remaining north of I-10 right now. So, we'll keep an eye on it. But that hail core will be headed toward El Dorado, Texas. And eventually it'll go through the Edwards Plateau, the northern part of the Edwards Plateau. La-di-da-di-da. Nah, we'll stay on this product here. We'll switch to the Abilene radar. I'll show you. We don't really have any other major hail issues. Here and there we have isolated larger cores. But nothing as robust as that one down toward US 190 that I just mentioned. Mostly a windbag, guys. This is mostly a wind maker. This is some strong winds up to 60 miles per hour coming through Abilene. Now what has reached the surface might not be quite 65. I am noting a more robust area. Let's go ahead and stop it right there. Let's go ahead and switch this to. Let's go. It feels backwards to do this. Velocity in the left. But I'll turn our attention to this. This is possibly a more enhanced area of downdraft winds riding up. And that'll be US route 277. A little bit of a sigh from the baby. But she's still asleep. Alright, so these winds coming into Buffalo Gap, 60 miles per hour. So maybe a little more enhanced gusty winds coming right up, northeast up the US 277 corridor towards southern Abilene. Buffalo Gap, Tuscola, right up your lawn, Texas. So what's happening on your lawn here? Well, 60 mile per hour winds shortly. Potosi, Texas. Kind of in the crosshairs of this more enhanced regional wind moving kind of northeastward. You can see how it evolves here if we rock it back. Seems to kind of organize and push northeastward, almost like a bow coming right toward Buffalo. You get these little bows, you know that the wind is like, it's like a current, but because it's moving so fast, you know, it forms that bow. So that current of high-speed air, you get that apex here, and it becomes kind of a bow because it's pushing out so hard. So 60, maybe low 60 mile per hour winds. That's going to do some very, very light damage, just going to toss around loose articles. It's going to sound a little gnarly as it hits your windows in your home, but just keep in mind, severe thunderstorm warning means you should be probably not near a window. So strong winds, maybe even some wind-driven hail means get indoors and stay away from windows. That's going to be moving towards southern Abilene, Buffalo Gap, eventually Potosi, and in 30 minutes or so, that little area of wind, 60 mile per hour winds, will be knocking on Clyde's door, crossing I-20. So could be some ouchies for folks driving on I-20 if it wasn't already ouchies enough in Abilene. We have a more enhanced area of wind coming your way east of Abilene. So we'll see how that holds together. Still, as of right now, no tornado warnings in the state of Texas. Severe thunderstorm warnings, nothing we haven't dealt with already. It's April, it's tornado season, it's severe weather season. We had a tornado about an hour and 10 minutes ago between Anson and Stamford, Texas. So not expecting really anybody to have been affected by that. I know it's kind of a hot spot for random nocturnal tornadoes, but hopefully no damage out there. Haven't had a tornado warning in Texas since. Of course, our Oklahoma festival of tornadoes continues. And there it is on the left side of the screen. We have an observed tornado and 1.5 inch hail. Carter, Love, Marshall counties, Oklahoma. Tornado warning expires in 3 minutes. We'll see. I'm sure they're going to extend it. Observed considerable threat. Tornado warning, Carter, Johnston, Marshall, and Murray County. Radar indicated tornado warning. Same counties. We have multiple overlapping tornado warnings in south central Oklahoma. Carter, Marshall, Murray, Love. Carter, Marshall, Johnston, Murray, Love. Osage County tornado warning. Wow, that's way up north. Bartlesville. What is that? Tornado reported at 11:22 northwest of Tulsa. Oh, congratulations. Hopefully nothing bad. I'll take a quick look from the Tulsa radar at what's going on. Now that I can live with. I'm not even sure there's a tornado ongoing any longer. Might have heard a little mouth noise from my kiddo. So, I mean, not out of the woods, folks, along this kind of line of spinny activity. But that big deal tornado that went through Spalding, Holdenville, Okemah, perhaps no longer a big time issue. And still broad rotation, so I mean, if they continue to issue tornado warnings on this storm going into Tulsa, just get in a shelter, folks in Tulsa. I'm not gonna hyper focus on that, but just kind of checking the situation there. Yeah, and I know most of our folks are in the Texas area, and I'm doing coverage simultaneously for Texas Storm Chasers and Texas Weather Center, the Texas Storm Chasers Facebook, Texas Storm Chasers X. Failed to go live on TikTok, but it is what it is. Knowing TikTok, it'll probably be banned in the next 10 minutes anyway. So severe thunderstorm warnings still continue big country into western North Texas. And hey, I might as well just keep watching and talking to you guys. Might answer some questions here in a moment, now that I'm not super terrified about stuff happening in Oklahoma necessarily. Let's see what David's up to.
A building thrown onto 30.
No new news from David. Yeah, but there's tornadoes galore in Oklahoma tonight. No tornado warnings as of midnight. It's a Sunday. Happy Sunday. It is 12:01 a.m. now, Sunday, April 28th. Congratulations making it through a Saturday. And multiple severe weather instances in the state of Texas. So, we'll stick around and continue to monitor what's going on. I haven't heard anything from David, so I know David's okay, but I don't think David's witnessing apocalypse in Oklahoma time. Just dealing with flash flooding, lightning, tornadoes here, there, everywhere. Back to the Abilene area. This storm is going to kind of bug the Abilene area. So Abilene already got, I wouldn't say blasted, but Abilene already got ran over by marginally severe thunderstorm earlier. And now we're going to get rocked again. Call it rocked. We got rocked by severe thunderstorm within the last 20 minutes. Now we're going to get re-rocked by this storm coming from the southwest. Now coming into Buffalo Gap, Texas with 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Marginally severe hail in there. It does not look to be a hail issue at this time. It's going to be downdrafts, gusty winds along just this whole collective amount of storms here that kind of combine forces, combine energy, kind of like a squall line. It all forms into somewhat of a line, and it gathers all that outflow and just kind of starts pushing it out. That's why these squall lines start to lose tornadic tendency, because once they all become a clustered line, if you will, as we see, damaging winds, but even hail starts to go on the wayside, because all these updrafts, when they get undercut, well, hail is best formed when you have surface-based updrafts literally shooting air parcels up 100 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour up is how fast some of these updrafts can move. Of course, what happens is these super intense updrafts, well, these little ice crystals start to aggregate and they become hail, small hail, which just keeps bobbing, collecting, and these super intense updrafts, again, winds moving up, defeating the force of gravity at 100 miles per hour. Well, they keep tumbling those hailstones throughout the updraft because, well, the wind keeps throwing them up. And, these stronger updrafts mean potentially larger hail. There's more thermodynamics at work too, but in a nutshell, that's kind of how hail works. Eventually the hailstone becomes so big that finally the gravity can pull it down through the force of the updraft. Long story short, once all these updrafts get undercut, they get weaker. They get elevated. Now there could still be some hail, but we don't see those super intense updrafts that may produce tornadoes and large hail because all the cold pull kind of slides underneath of them and weakens the intensity of those updrafts. So that's good news if you don't like tornadoes, and good news if you don't like massive hail. Now, I'm not going to say there won't be hail in these, because there will be hail. It's just, I haven't seen instances of softball-sized hail or anything with this activity. It's mainly become a windbag situation. Hey there, Elisa. Just saw your back. Thank you. I haven't been able to really look at the chat, but reckon I'll take a gander here once I'm done yip-yapping about this activity. Hail intensities seem to be coming down on this stuff coming toward El Dorado, Arizona, eventually Sonora, Texas, in the I-10 corridor. So, always good news to see. We have no tornado issues in the state of Texas. Also, hi Jen. Just seeing the Discord notifications. If you want to join the Discord, all you have to do is join the Texas Weather Center YouTube memberships. The basic level alone will get you into that Discord. So if you want to be a part of that Discord community that we used to have but got too big and out of control, well, you can now do so once again. Again, search for that YouTube Texas Weather Center membership. Any membership will get you access to that Discord. Back to the stormy issues here. Again, still San Angelo looking okay. It's loud. It's rainy. Might be gusty, but we've had this fine line that those outflow winds push well out in front of the storm. So it could be gusty winds. Again, frequent cloud to ground lightning and plenty of rain coming your way, but no severe thunderstorm warnings in or even near San Angelo. You have to go all the way down here southwestward. Folks in Crockett, Orion, and Schleicher County to get severe weather. Weird. I've never even heard of those counties. I'm sorry, I'm not a county expert in the state of Texas, but those are counties I would not have even guessed their names of. But it's not a lot of people live out here. We'll continue to monitor this. There's still somewhat of a inflow notch. Maybe it could just barely be feeding in on some inflow, keeping this thing well fed, if you will. Well fed for, again, if it has inflow, if it's not completely undercut, if it has some inflow, we'll have stronger updrafts. Maybe a tornado, but at this point, tornado threat is 2 to 5%. I'm not banking on it, especially now after dark. Surface inversion. After dark, your surface temperatures cool off just a bit to cause more intense cap or lid over the atmosphere. So when that happens, these storms tend to be elevated. So we'll continue to watch these storms as they kind of come through northern Edwards Plateau, Concho Valley, Big Country, western North Texas, and in several hours they'll be knocking on DFW's door. Good news for the folks in Oklahoma, not seeing as many of those tornado warnings. So I've had a pretty rough last couple of hours, several hours. Now we still have likely tornado ongoing here. Mansville to Mill Creek, folks, again, just east of Ardmore. Ardmore's been hit apparently twice now by tornadoes. Marietta also. But now we're dealing with potential tornadoes just west of Mansville, Oklahoma, as well as Mill Creek. And I bet Mandy Bailey, Chief Meteorologist Kate Ten, who I every now and then chase for, we went to college together. She's got her hands full right now this evening on television for the folks in Texoma in central Oklahoma. Texoma being that south central Oklahoma and far north central Texas. Again, folks that might be new to the area, I know there's a lot of you. A lot of transplants from other states that now live here in the state of Texas. And if you hear us say Texoma, you might be like, I didn't know that existed. I've never heard of Texoma. Well, it's this region here, basically. This, don't take this circle for verbatim, but Texas, Oklahoma, Texoma. Yeah, we're very original, but we like it. So Texoma's been busy tonight, particularly on the Oklahoma side. But yeah, Texoma. In fact, David Reimer just wrote an article about this and produced a super duper fancy graphic that he spent days on. So again, kudos to David Reimer for manufacturing that graphic. He spent days on that graphic. Some of you are going to nitpick it, no doubt. There's no one map that will tell you exactly where every single region of Texas is, to the mile. No, you're not going to see any one map look the exact same. There's no map. It's just roughly colloquial, areas, So he did the best he could. He spent days on it. Again, kudos to David Reimer on doing that. Well, there you go. There's Texoma. Texoma's had tornado issues this evening. Again, long story short, folks that meteorologists and folks that do warn these storms here with pretty lousy radar data, they've been working their butts off for the folks that live here in these areas. Of course, these tornadoes have also been all the way up to I-40, all the way up toward Kansas. I know there's been numerous tornado warnings, tornadoes. I don't even know at this point. All the way through Kansas, parts of Nebraska, parts of Missouri, parts of Iowa, parts of Illinois, parts of Wisconsin. I've seen all the warnings pop up on my phone all day long. It's been a hectic day. Oklahoma really just kind of took the cake as far as tornado activity goes this evening. Now we're, some kind of issues in southern Tulsa now. Oof. Oh, it's late. I'm not gonna go wall to wall with this tornado stuff, but if you know anybody south of Tulsa, Okmulgee, east of Okmulgee, potentially Bixby, Broken Arrow, Coweta, I believe that's how you say it. Just give these folks a ring. I'm hoping that we avoid serious tornado situation in Tulsa, but outer Tulsa, those satellite cities there, Broken Arrow, Bixby, yeah, check on your folks that live in there, and yeah, tell them to get to shelter. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep going back to Oklahoma and hyper fixating on that. What I will go ahead and do is just kind of let this play out, and if I can stop getting so distracted, I will talk to the chat, answer some questions, and we will just have a little chit chat. As these storms continue with their wind and their now and again hail issues, mostly wind issues, through big country in Concho Valley, western North Texas, and we still have a few hours to go until they're in DFW. Now, if it looks like anything interesting, I'll pop my head out the door and take some video, but at this point I'm not like super intrigued by anything out here. Yeah, it's strong winds. Yeah, I mean, maybe some hail, but it's April in Texas. We do it. I'm happy to report I'm not seeing anything that's like life-altering, gut-wrenching activity anywhere with this severe thunderstorm complex. But all we can really do at this point is continue to monitor, because there is still a non-zero threat of tornadoes as we go through the evening hours. So at this point, I've already been online for an hour and a half. Might as well continue onward. Might grab a quick drink to wet the whistle, but so far, so good. Let's see if we have any reports. Yeah, 60 to 64 mile per hour wind gusts, and the occasional dime-sized hail report. Big country with this activity. Nothing in excess of an inch diameter hail yet, as far as I can tell. Yeah. It's spring and the flies are back. It's going to drive me crazy. Jason, is there a way to mod any of us on Facebook? Oh, apparently Facebook has just been going crazy tonight. Wow, still 1,300 people watching on Facebook. What's going on here? And several hundred on the Texas Weather Center YouTube and the Texas Storm Chasers YouTube. Multiple thousands on X. And my gratitude for you guys hanging out with me, trying to fill in with basic, super basic layout, one laptop, a Yeti microphone that, sorry David, hasn't been failing me, at least tonight. David, if you ever go back and watch this, I am so sorry about all those microphone issues you had today and computer crashy issues. Good, we're going to need a technological crashy doom word verbiage from you, David, for all those warning. Yeah, that's how it is. It is after hours, though, so yeah, that was quite annoying to see for anybody. Alright, so what am I doing? I'm going to look in the chat. Alright. We have mods helping out like mad. Jen, thank you so much. We have actually somewhat of an active X audience tonight. Okay. Kauita. Thank you. Coaster Cat. Kauita. How likely would you say hail is for Temple? Well, this stuff is still so far away from Temple. So your guess is as good as mine, but as of right now, I mean, this stuff is mostly just windbag. It's going to be more aimed toward western North Texas in the meantime. Maybe eventually make it to the DFW metroplex. No, I'm not seeing any serious activity even anywhere remotely close to coming toward Killeen Temple at the moment to even gauge what's going to happen in what will be probably 4 or 5 hours. Jason, is there a TSC approved app for weather alerts on your phone, since TSC's doesn't do that? TSC approved app for weather alerts on your phone. Oh, well, that's a good question, Jen. Thanks for asking. Of course, I'm so weather aware that I usually don't have warnings popped up. I'm always just kind of aware of my surroundings with the weather. So if you're looking for an app that's, in supplement to the Texas Storm Chasers weather app, if you're looking for an app that isn't necessarily TSC, something supplemental for warnings, I know there's been a few that I've used over the years. I mean, I honestly, I'm at a loss at this point, even thinking about it. But let's see if I can jog my memory here. Yeah, just don't even. I'm having a hard time jogging my memory. What I used to use, at least, I don't even see any longer. Android X app, EX app is amazing. All right, thank you, Larry. Yeah, I'm not going to be a whole lot of help with apps that will push warnings for your location out, but I believe Texas Storm Chasers has something along the lines of that capability. You might have to hunt for the settings, but yeah. As far as supplemental stuff goes, I honestly, I don't have anything in mind. We don't have anything that the company has discussed that we would pimp out, so to speak. So sorry, not really helpful in that regard. Still have severe thunderstorm warning. The storm north of Sonora, Texas, coming into El Dorado right now. Some hail and some gusty winds with that activity. Pretty robust little storm there, but luckily nothing tornadic. Still no severe weather, San Angelo. We have some stronger winds south of Abilene. Winters, Texas, coming toward Novice. Right now, everything's somewhat behaved. I mean, we're not talking about tornadoes in Texas, so that's good. I mean, it's April. It's Texas. It's April. There's flies. Ugh. There's flies everywhere. So, bouts of 50 to 60 mile per hour winds here near Winters, Texas. Nothing I'm super nervous about. And that'll be making its way toward Novice. Down the line is Cross Plains here in the next 30 to 40 minutes. 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. I'm not concerned about that. Loose articles certainly get blown around. I mean, that could have happened any time of the day today with how strong those winds were out of the south. Saw people putting up yard sale out in the area, and their stuff was flying across the driveway. And I was trying to help catch it before it blew away into the next county over. So, oh, Merry Christmas, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Tarrant County, Parker County, Denton County, we have had an explosion of showers. None of this is obviously even stormy, so to speak. It's showers at the moment. We could see more blossoming of this activity as it moves north into Denton County. And it better behave. I'm telling you right now, all this activity better behave. We'll keep an eye on it. That's why I'm not hanging up the phone anytime soon. We have severe weather in the state of Texas and a non-zero tornado risk. These showers just kind of really getting perky. Tarrant County, Parker, Denton County, all the way north into Cook and Grayson County. And you know what? We're going to have to watch. I know a lot of this activity has just been obliterated by surging outflow. But I'm going to keep an eye on this stuff. How could you? This stuff is getting a little more organized, I'm not going to lie here. Let's go ahead and stop it right here. Stop. Marginally interesting storm as far as like a severe / tornado coverage. Lost my train of thought. But this storm here, Montague, just east of Nakona, west of St. Joe. This storm is about to go toward the Red River, but I mean, the way things have been going, there's definitely a chance that this storm could start spinning up. It's got a little more of a discreet look to it. You know, this it's not along a bunch of other storms' outflow. In fact, it's just out ahead of the other stuff. So this is kind of, you could actually see it here. Outflow, all this activity, boo, 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 boo. It's just a big glob of garbage. You know, gusty garbage, sure. But this storm here, west of St. Joe, kind of right along the line where it will actually have juicy air mass to deal with. So what's been happening in Marietta, Oklahoma, Ardmore, Oklahoma, well, dare say, I mean, this storm has a chance, has a shot to kind of wash, rinse, repeat as it moves toward the Red River and go in Oklahoma. Now the question is this air completely overworked yet? This air with all, I mean, so much rain. I haven't even looked at rainfall totals yet. So much rain in Oklahoma here with all the storms. I mean, this could be overworked, rain-cooled by now. We'll just have to see. The storm definitely taking on a bit of a supercellular appearance. It's got a little bit of a bean shape. There's the inflow winds pulling in. And maybe a developing mesocyclone there. Yeah, I know. Don't even say it. It's after hours. Don't laugh at my don't laugh at my drawing. So we'll watch, and we're going to continue to watch. None of this stuff in Tarrant, Denton County is doing anything, but it's, you know, having some downpours just along I-35W. Let's look in the super duper chat and see if David Reimer said anything, and yeah, he's mentioned a couple things. Tornado damage in Marietta. Interstate blocked. Not good. So the interstate is completely blocked in Marietta, Oklahoma. Standstill traffic. David Reimer said he's doing well and he's going to be home by 2 a.m. So, David Reimer will be home in 90 minutes. David Reimer's doing okay. Good deal. Unfortunately, Chaser Adam, Lucio, Chelsea Burnett are stuck on I-35 in Marietta in tornado damage path. So, hopefully they could just get back home soon. It's been a long few days for them. We're just going to continue to monitor these storms as they slowly march eastward into western North Texas, central North Texas, Texoma, Concho Valley, Edwards Plateau. And Merry Christmas. I'll look at the chat again. Breckenridge had a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. Or they're going to. Okay, Larry. Sorry, I can't read. Terrell, please. Well, Terrell, you're looking fine and dandy right now. I assume Terrell, Texas. Now we have strong winds. Not even storm-related winds, but Terrell, Texas here. I mean, we don't even have anything anywhere near the area right now. We're looking at DFW probably around 3:30, 4 a.m. at the earliest for this line of severe storms with wind, maybe some isolated hail. A lot of people are concerned about DFW. Again, we don't have any tornado warnings now. We have a low chance of tornadoes as the evening continues. However, we're not seeing anything bona fide even looking tornadic at this time or in the near future. So, Hunt County, nothing going on in DFW, nothing going on in Hunt, nothing going on in Rockwall, nothing going on in Kaufman, nothing going on in Collin, Denton, Tarrant, Dallas, Ellis, Johnson, Parker. I'm learning some of these counties. Wise, nothing going on. And if we have some gusty winds, it's going to be associated with a line of thunderstorms probably in the next 2 hours. Not expecting any tornado activity, but I'll stick around and we'll just keep watching. And in fact, I'll hand it off to David Reimer if he's inclined once he gets home at 2. I don't think he's going to be inclined to do coverage after driving around in floods and tornadoes all night in Oklahoma. And of course, he did coverage for Northwest Texas earlier. He covered tornadoes, Knox City, Seymour, and Electra. Scary storms, Iowa Park, Burke Burnett. He was pretty busy all day. He was busy yesterday too. Yesterday we had multiple tornadoes rock parts of North Texas. And even some possible tornadoes northeast Texas, strong winds as well. I'm definitely going to stick around though. We have showers developing, storms developing now. It would appear not concerned or anything right now, but I am noting an uptick in this activity out here in the warm sector. The warm sector being out east of the activity, the storms that are ongoing in western North Texas and the big country. The warm sector is that the juicy atmosphere that has not been contaminated by big globs of garbage storms The warm sector is starting to fire off storms in the DFW metroplex now. I'm not sitting here sweating about it, but I'm going to keep notice because we do have, if there is any even surface-based instability, it could be a little bit of an issue later on down the road, but pretty low chance of that. We'll just have to keep watching this. Well, that's what I'm here for. So we had a downpour, but nothing really happening as of yet. Fort Worth, Hazlitt, Justin, Ponder, West Denton, going to be crumb. We'll see how that evolves. But severe thunderstorms still coming in slowly from Abilene, Albany, Graham. I know I turned that into 2 different syllables. Oh, thank you, Michael Beard, for that image. Just wow. Oh, that's a good shot, Michael. I just got one of my friends sent an image of that Knox City tornado earlier, way hours ago. Well, we're just continuing to kind of sit here, idle. 60-mile-per-hour winds at times, maybe some hail. Coming into Graham, Texas now. It's already come through Abilene, Albany, Wingate, Winters, Texas. So it's kind of biding our time now. A lot of DFW questions. Yeah, no, Skylar, no big chance of tornado. Absolutely not. Have those warning apps ready to go, weather radars ready to go. Bowie, Texas. Nothing right now, not even a severe thunderstorm. We might have some relatively stronger winds here in the next 30 minutes as storms creep in your direction. Maybe some hail. Maybe some small hail west of town that'll go north toward Bellevue. Yeah, okay, Elisa, thank you. So what, do we have an influx of folks coming in? Well, still at 860 on the Facebook, almost 500 on Texas Weather Center, and 300 on Texas Storm Chasers. Several thousand have been viewed on X. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the chit chat. We're just going to keep this on a loop. Buying some time. Graham, you're going to get some strong winds here. This is fairly stronger winds, maybe some pocket change sized hail coming into Graham right now. Yeah, gotcha, Lisa. Yeah, that's to be expected. DFW is by far our greatest viewing, greatest ratio of folks that follow our channel are from DFW. Might be some bias in that because we have some of our own folks that live here in DFW. As myself, I'm in northern Dallas County, here-ish, in Coppell. So we have other folks like Adam, Chelsea, Jenny, Alex, also in the DFW Metroplex. The other half of our team is in Oklahoma City, including David, including Big Bob. But anyways, not to digress, just kind of watching these showers blossom in Tarrant and Denton County. See what's going on with that. Alright, so Waxahachie tonight. Still, I mean, we're going to look at thunderstorms in the DFW Metroplex and satellite cities around the area here, probably around 3-4 a.m. I'm not worried about tornadoes. I mean, there's an outside chance of a spin-up tornado, but as of right now, everything's been behaving, relatively speaking. Haven't had a tornado in Texas in 2 hours, so that's good news. We were pulled over in Bellevue trying to decide if we should keep heading to DFW. Well, Kate, I hope you've already gotten out of Bellevue because you're about to get some strong winds and some hail. So hopefully you kept on the 287 toward DFW. Cisco, believe you're gonna. Oh, Eastland. Hi, Larry. That's going to be 60 mile per hour winds, Eastland County. As this activity kind of comes in, don't have a severe thunderstorm warning for it yet, but nothing holy moly guacamole right now. 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Won't be sustained for too long. Frequent cloud to ground lightning and heavy rain. We're going to have some quick, pretty hefty rainfall totals out of these storms because they're moving at a bit of a slower clip. They're not crashing through the area, so they're kind of slowly going eastward, so it drops more rainfall over any particular area. Oh, for fun, let's go ahead and look at total radar indicated rainfall amounts. Hi friends, joining me. I'm filling in for David Reimer tonight. Mom's meteorologist Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers, also here on Texas Weather Center. Folks that are concerned about Oklahoma, we still have a couple ongoing tornado warnings, but as they get kind of farther away from Texas, my focus is going to be a little bit more sparingly. But I'm not super scared, at least, about anything in the Tulsa area, so hopefully, optimistically, we'll be doing a little bit better overnight in Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma's had rainfall totals, pretty sizable amounts. Half a foot of rain. And that's kind of aimed at the Sulphur area, yeah, not surprised. Still have ongoing tornado warnings east of Sulphur, Oklahoma. But yeah, radar indicates possibly a half a foot of rainfall in a corridor through Doherty, Sulphur, up to Roth, that little bubble of higher rainfall totals. And then again, Temple, Oklahoma, to Duncan, Oklahoma, we actually have a flooding report right there. Blah, blah, blah. So, well, of course, let's look at Texas. That's what we care about most. And oh, we're not. Yeah, the kind of what I expected. So this stuff put an inch of rain down, maybe plus or minus a tenth or two. Inch of rain as this thing kind of comes through somewhat slowly. So that's pretty good. Thank you, Michael. I'm a one-man show tonight. I'm probably not going to be able to integrate it on my stream. And as a friend, I know, I understand, but you know, there's always the rights issue stuff. So, but I'll keep an eye on your content though for additional photos of that tornado. So we have potentially half a foot of rainfall earlier in the evening between Benjamin and Monday, Texas, north of Seymour. Of course, that's all the stuff David was covering earlier. So, you know, an inch of rain coming out of this stuff. Wouldn't be surprised to see an inch, plus or minus 0.1. Okay, so continuing by time here, watching showers blossom in North Tarrant and now Denton County, but nothing really happening with that right now. Woo! So this stuff comes into Eastland County. Hi, Larry. That's going to be producing 50 mile per hour wind gusts. That could be somewhat of a nice shelf cloud. That's a nice fine line. This fine line indicates that outflow is pushed well out in front of the storms, so that's great if you don't like tornadoes. You know, could be some strong winds, but we'll live with that. That could be a nice shelf cloud. You know, that gust front kind of will tend to form those shelf clouds, and this is the signature. Well, really sharp looking fine line. I was like, that might be producing somewhat of a shelf cloud. And that's just the storm photographer in me. The storm photographer in me has died over the years, but yeah, I'd be setting up my camera for long exposure shots if I was in Eastland County right now, up to Ranger for a shelf cloud approach. Lightning's all way back to the west here, so it'd be like, boo, I'm not going to get lightning shots, but yeah, shelf cloud. If anybody's out here in the front of these storms, you might be able to see the storms coming just from the flickering of the storms and the lightning, or the perhaps shelf cloud coming over. Oh, David said he'll be home in about an hour and he's going to take over. So, congratulations. You know, Restream actually has this feature now where you can go to the YouTube. If you have YouTube channels set up on the Restream, you could actually go through and select the event. And then I believe you could actually take over the stream that way. But yeah, that's more experimenting for another time. In fact, I was just experimenting literally doing Breakfast Club. I was like, yes. I found a way to stop the radar stream from dying overnight and us losing the 24-hour YouTube radar stream. Anyways, learning and developing day by day here at Texas Storm Chasers. I want to give Lori Kilburn a welcome to basic membership. Appreciate you very much for joining this evening. Look for that members only post on the community tab of Texas Weather Center YouTube for that Discord link. Anybody that's interested in the Discord, I know we pulled the rug on it because it got super duper big. I know, Larry, right? Discord got super duper huge last year. We had to sunset the Discord due to it being just too much to manage. But now we've made it more manageable, a more tight-knit community with a members-only invite there. So if you become a member on Texas Weather Center, look for that members-only Discord link posted. Again, that's on the YouTube, Texas Weather Center. It's special members only. Will David be live tonight? Yeah, he said he'll take over here in about an hour once he gets home, so we'll see how that goes. Got a lot of questions about Valley View, North Texas, DFW, Sanger. If I'm not talking about you, that's a good thing, as David would say. We do have some wind and maybe some hail coming into the area. And it's going to be, a spring night in Texas, but I'm not concerned about anything super crazy. Oh, I got you, Kyla. Terrell, Oklahoma. I saw that spelling and I thought maybe you meant Oklahoma, but I default to Texas. I'm not gonna lie. So I got you, Kyla. Sorry, I'm not helpful in that regard. Kind of stopped looking at Oklahoma since a little bit less tornado issues going on now. Got a lot of participation in the chat, and I've been 17 minutes behind, and there's so many comments coming in. thank you so much to our moderators who are relentless in trying to keep everybody aware of what's going on, relentlessly sharing links, resources, trying to answer questions, forwarding me questions. They do way more than we deserve them to be doing. Yeah, thank you, Vince Castro. I just saw that comment on YouTube. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you. My newborn has not really made a single peep in the last 2 hours I've been live. And my toddler would not be doing coverage if my toddler was awake right now. Be like, there's no stinking way. Because he's running around all over the place. It's been a very good turnout for coverage tonight, and it all started with one single tornado warning out near Stanford, Texas. We had a tornado about 10:45, very likely radar indicated tornado at least. One little spooky time for Texas this evening, but Oklahoma did that tenfold. Many large tornadoes in Oklahoma, damage, injuries, structural issues, power outages. Outages and the tornado debris path. So yeah, Oklahoma has some cleaning up to do. But Texas, we had that small, quick little storm scale interaction, produced a tornado, and I've been live for 2 hours now, just kind of yip-yapping. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I mean, sticking around this long. I'm definitely not able to fill the shoes of David Reimer. I've got one laptop and a working microphone. And I have 0 monitors. I have 2 monitors. They're just not even hooked up. It's using my laptop. Now, if it was a big time Texas issues, I'd be sweating, because if there were tornadoes in Texas right now, I probably wouldn't be able to survive very well with just a laptop and no monitors. I'll to be perfectly honest there. But this works for like the once in a while situation. Thank you, Michael, for sending me this Twitter. Let me hit this. Good resources. Oh no. Cat's scratching the furniture. Oh my goodness. So Sulphur, Oklahoma. Sulphur, Oklahoma is in bad shape. Thank you for. Yeah, Sulphur's taken a pretty bad hit from that large tornado, and that tornado tracked all the way up toward Roth. We also had another simultaneous tornado up near Spalding, Holdenville, Okemo, Oklahoma. So let me say this: Oklahoma has had a bad night. Things might be relatively quieter now. We've only got one tornado warning west of Tishomingo. Then we got another tornado warning north of Muskogee. It's kind of a spin-up QLCS situation. I mentioned this earlier. QLCS, here's a perfect example. I've seen a couple of people ask about QLCS. Quasi-linear convective system. Whenever I say quasi, I think quasi-geostrophic theory. I'm like, I have to fix myself mid-sentence. Quasi-linear convective system, where you get these lines of storms here, but it's a quasi-line. It's kind of almost a line, but not really. It's got these little areas of spin, so that's certainly not a line. And if you know anybody in Wagoner, Oklahoma, they better be in shelter. I'm not here to do Oklahoma coverage, but the scale of tornadoes possibly even a violent tornado or two through the evening here in Oklahoma. Just a scale of the amount of tornadoes and how close it is to Texas, and that's our second biggest population by state of our viewing audience. We do coverage for Oklahoma in very small. There's a tornado coming toward the greater Wagoner area in Oklahoma right now. But yeah, we've had multiple tornado situations this evening in the last 2 or 3 hours. Particularly south central to east central Oklahoma. But yeah, those tornado warnings are continuing. Now the QOCS that's responsible for this, again, it's almost a line. It's quasi-linear. But we still see these areas along the line where you get these kinks, little kinks in the line where it pulls in inflow and such and causes spin-up tornadoes. It's kind of that spin-up lingo that you hear every now and then, a spin-up. QLCS is kind of where you see these spin-ups, because you don't know where it's going to spin up a lot of the time, but these spin up. So if you're ever wondering why the heck we say spin up sometimes, it's kind of what these things do. They just spin up here and there, everywhere. It's been doing a lot of the everywhere tonight in Oklahoma. Back to Texas, we're still going to be monitoring severe weather. If I could ever get back to Texas, here we go. Still monitoring damaging winds. I mean, not extreme, excessive winds, but we're still monitoring severe level winds at least. Now entering northwest Eastland County. Just starting to get into Palo Pinto County. Hey, Merry Christmas. I don't know what county that is. I know that Jack County. La-di-da-di-da. Oh, is that Young County? Tell you what I could do. I could go to my map, and it's Stevens County. All right. So, wind, maybe some small hail in Stevens County coming into Breckenridge now. Winds may gust up to 60 to 65 miles per hour around that Breckenridge storm right now. Maybe some sporadic gust upwards of 65 miles per hour. This is really close to the radar, so let's see what this says. Well, it's under 60. It's mid-50s right there, north of Cisco. So, yeah, nothing we haven't seen before. April, Central Texas, Big Country, North Texas. Nothing we haven't seen before. It's April. We could be doing a lot worse, to be honest. I mean, we did worse earlier yesterday with tornadoes in northwest Texas. And 2 days ago in parts of North Texas, Hillsboro, Rice, Alma, West Texas, the city of West, China Spring, Canton, to name a few. We had several tornadoes. Again, 2 days ago being Friday, late morning and afternoon, kind of in this corridor here. Well, no. It was more like this corridor. I'm going to go a little more broad. Something like that. This is where we had multiple instances of tornadoes on Friday morning and early afternoon that David Reimer did coverage for. Multiple instances of tornadoes. And then everything today, or yesterday now, I should say, Saturday, April 27th, all that stuff was not even that. It was more localized, like kind of that. It's been interesting to see how these last couple of days have evolved with the parameter space just being the spatial, the widespread spatial magnitude of just super high tornadic environments. All things considered, we've made it through the last couple days here in Texas not too bad off, to be perfectly honest. It's been busy, but I mean, we've had pretty large parameter space for tornadoes the last couple of days. And, you know, we've had tornadoes in those aforementioned areas, but I feel like we've kind of dodged a bullet. Now, Oklahoma did not dodge a bullet. They did not. This evening, they certainly did not dodge a bullet. Towns like Sulphur, Ardmore, I believe Marietta, Holdenville, Spalding, Okemah, and now potentially Wagoner were hit or might be hit. Speaking of which, how's Wagoner? I had a college friend from Wagoner. I actually played in a band with him. Yeah, Wagoner might have an issue. Blah-de-da-de-da. Okay. Yeah, and we're not here for really Oklahoma coverage, but again, the comparison being multiple towns in Oklahoma, direct hit, injuries, structural damage, roads blocked, 35 blocked, so, you know, obviously major thoroughfare, floods, half a foot of rain. I mean, it is total chaos in Oklahoma. Texas, yeah, we've had issues. We've been doing coverage. We had a tornado about 2 hours and 15 minutes ago that it kicked off this coverage between Anson and Stanford. We had multiple tornadoes yesterday in the Seymour, Knox City, Electra area. But all things considered, given the large parameter space, more warm, juicy, moist environment, low-level wind shear plastered across lots of Texas. I mean, the fact we haven't had any big-time damage situations in Texas that I can think of, I mean, it's a godsend for Texas. That's a blessing. And there's a tornado watch. All right, so congratulations, DFW Metroplex. You are now under tornado watch. Tornado watch number 157 of the year. That will go until 7 a.m. So it's going to be a long night. Now, I'm not like, I look at this and I'm thinking, well, I'm not all too concerned right now, but I'm not hanging up the phone. If nothing was going on, you'd think I'd be going to bed right now, right? I mean, so the good news, as Larry pointed out earlier, seeing a shelf cloud is better than seeing a tornado. So Eastland, Larry's taking a big breath of relief there. He's probably getting a shelf cloud. No tornado. Again, this straight as a freaking arrow indicates that we're not going to have any spin-ups anytime soon on this activity going through Stevens, Eastland, Palo Pinto. Let's switch radars and see if our storms out in Concho Valley are undercut. Yeah. So undercut, again, that fine line protruding out in front of the storms, that is undercut. And undercut storms aren't going to have big, scary hail. They're not going to produce tornadoes. So yes, we have a tornado watch until 7 a.m. for much of North Texas. Northern Hill Country, northern central Texas. This includes tornado watch until 7, includes portions of Bell County, McLennan County, the I-35 corridor, all the way into the DFW metroplex, all the counties, all these counties. I'm not going to list them all off. Going out here, Evant, Gatesville, Hamilton, Stephenville, Dublin, Comanche, Glen Rose, Granbury. Again, any and all of the towns in the DFW metroplex, all the way up to Sherman, Bonham, Leonard, Commerce, Greenville, Paris, Texas, just to name a few. You are under a tornado watch until 7 a.m. So I believe David Reimer's had a second wind of energy, so he's going to be home in about 45 minutes. He claims he'll take over. Now, we'll have to orchestrate how he's going to take over from Oklahoma City. I'm sure there's a way. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's a way to do it. So you might have to bear with us once we do the handoff, because we haven't really had to do a handoff in a while, but we'll see what happens there. But I'm sticking around here because we do have severe thunderstorms still moving on in the western North Texas, Texoma. Those showers in Denton County are going on the weakening trend now, so that's good news. That's not going to try to pull a Oklahoma on us. So we just continue to watch a line of severe weather coming through western North Texas. It's exiting the big country now, coming into far northern hill country as well. So let's acknowledge our many folks here still on the social medias. It's 1:06. Again, this is a tornado watch. A tornado watch means that you have a table with multiple plates and multiple little groupings of taco ingredients. The ingredients are laid out on the table to make a taco. The tornado warning means that the taco is made. Nothing's in Denton, by the way. No. Forget I said Denton. We're good. We're good. I have a lot of people have storm anxiety. I'm just saying that all those showers in Denton County have weakened. Anyways, tornado watch until 7 a.m. It means we have, little bowls of cheese and beef and lettuce, pico de gallo. We have our tortillas. We can make ourselves a taco. Tornado warning means that we have the taco. It's ready to be eaten. So, goofy analogy here. A tornado watch means the ingredients. I know, Amy, right? A tornado watch means the ingredients are there for possible tornadoes down the road. A tornado warning means getting shelter. That tornado is pretty much there or about to be there, forming, reported or developing tornado. So that's the difference again between a watch and a warning. I know, right? Everybody knows what's going on with tacos. People are confused with tornado warnings and tornado watches. It's perfectly normal. I mean, not everybody else is a weather nerd like myself. But again, that's why I kind of say, if, for some reason, this has been a kind of a new thing to compare it to tacos. We're not going to build the taco for you. We're going to have all these separate little piles for you to walk through and make your own taco. Well, yeah, a taco bar. Tornado watch is a taco bar. You can make a taco. But a tornado warning means you have a tornado, or you're about to have a tornado, or you have the taco. The taco's made. Okay, so enough of that. All right, audio check. Have a tornado, or you're about to have a tornado. Okay. I know my audio and my presentation don't look great, and David Reimer does a superb job. So you get the B team. You get the. I've just come off the bench. I'm pinch hitting here. Yes, thank you, mods. Yes, thank you so much. But it is what it is. David Reimer was dealing with tornadoes in Oklahoma. Kind of one of those special cases, and now here I am doing coverage for 2.5 hours straight. But as of course this thunderstorm line of thunderstorms, again, I want to emphasize it is kind of like a line, which would suggest that less tornado potential, more wind potential, and we've seen greater bouts of wind upwards of 65 miles per hour at times, particularly Stevens County right now. It looks like you have some of the greater wind gusts. If we go ahead and zoom on into that area, why are you doing that to me? Go away. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so maybe some more enhanced winds coming through Stevens County, coming through Breckenridge already. That'll make its way toward Palo Pinto. So we're still a couple hours away from some wind, some gusty winds for sure, coming to the DFW Metroplex. Still nothing going on in DFW, folks. We had a couple of bolts of lightning, some rain, but any of those little showers that had gone up in the Metroplex have already fizzled. So that's great. I mean, we don't want the adverse effect of that. Oh, basically a line of severe weather, mostly wind, maybe some hail as it comes toward North Texas and DFW. Tornado watch is in effect until 7 a.m. So there are ingredients for a tornado down the road over the next 6 hours. No tornado warnings at this time. So the ingredients haven't come together and made a tornado yet. It has not happened. Go ahead, we have 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma. Multiple flash flood warnings, a few severe warnings. Oklahoma still has Cherokee, Mays, and Wagoner. Tornado, radar indicated tornado warning. And then another one in Haskell, McIntosh, Muskogee, and Pittsburgh counties in Oklahoma. Not as many tornado warnings now as there were when we started coverage a couple of hours ago. It's good. Severe thunderstorms continue. The just western fringe of North Texas now coming in slowly but surely. We'll be seeing storms here in the Metroplex after 3 a.m. it looks like at this point. So let's go ahead and look at the chat. Neighbors are having a party in the rain for 6 hours straight. That's interesting. Does anybody know if the tornado watch in Montague County is still active? Well, let's check that out. Yeah, so tornado watch Montague, you're almost done with it. Just got a little bit longer to go. But we don't see any tornado warnings, so that's the good news, folks. Denton looking overnight. Again, we do have a tornado watch, so we can't roll out spin-ups along the line. But again, emphasis on the line. This storm is pretty much line. Yeah, thank you, Burwell. Yeah, who knows how I'm even talking right now. I guess I had enough caffeine. Is there caffeine in this? Yes. Oh, cool, there is. That worked out. Yeah, tornadoes or tacos aren't imminent, but possible. Yeah, thank you. When I leave, what live do we go to? Well, Molly, so David Reimer's going to probably literally take over the stream. You're not going to have to do a thing. If all things work out well. So we might have to orchestrate how we're going to do the handoff. But you're not going to leave. You might just have to give us a couple minutes to finesse. Looks like X is having a good time here with our stream. La-di-da-di-da. Thank you very much for the compliment, Lori. Chris, Red Bull, right? Well, I got caffeine. What the whistle? Channeling my inner David Reimer, talking for hours straight. And I'm making funny analogies, so hooray. Thank you, Jared Yandel. Sheep is very awesome, right? So at this point, I'm just letting the radar play out. D. Only 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma. So that's good for friends up there. It was a very different story a couple of hours ago. Literally had tornadoes ripping through. Please let Marisa know. What? Please let Marisa know we said hi and congrats. Oh, that's from Elisa. That's our mods.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I know all of our mods feel the same way.
That's really nice.
Yeah, we have good people there helping us out, moderate, do far more than we deserve. I'll tell you that. But it's been a really good year. 2024 has been really good as far as a company perspective goes. A lot of growth on all the social media. I want to thank you for following David Reimer and his charades on those daily roundups. The Texas Weather Center YouTube has gone absolutely bonkers. Facebook have had market growth this year. I mean, a lot more people are tuning in now than they were just last year. A lot more visibility and reach, and we haven't even had big tornado events here in the state of Texas, and sometimes that is really where we get our visibility. But we've had huge visibility, huge reach, really good numbers, a lot of growth in the last couple of months, with the lack thereof any big time tornado issues in the state of Texas. All those tornadoes have been in the Midwest. Now, I don't need to tell you that. We've had tornadoes, dozens of tornadoes in Ohio. Dozens of tornadoes, even just yesterday or 2 days ago now. Nebraska, Iowa, some up in Illinois, a couple in Kansas. Oklahoma's making up for lost time today. So Oklahoma's numbers are going to skyrocket once all these surveys are done. Texas, I mean, for the biggest state in the union, we've probably had the most lackluster tornado season out of many of the other states. Hey, that's a good thing. That's our viewing area. That's the people we care about here in the state of Texas, like ourselves. So, I'm not complaining that there aren't tornadoes. I'm just saying it's surprising, all the tornadoes have been gone. They've been in other states for the most part. So, gonna just knock on some wood and just count our blessings as we've got them, I want to thank you again to the moderators for continuing to send those resources to the chat. So, I'll keep talking to the chat and then we'll see where David's at. Excuse me. David. Where will the storms be in your area? Well, you can download that free app and check it out from the comfort of your phone without having to listen to me ramble. But we do have severe weather, mainly strong winds that'll be coming through the greater DFW metroplex here in the next couple of hours. So we're just kind of sitting here watching, waiting, seeing what happens. You know, I'd say I should do this more often, but there's absolutely no way I could do this more often with 2 children. Particularly with one that is in his toddler years, and he follows me literally everywhere all day asking for food and tugging on my shirt and screams and wants to watch television. So surprisingly, me being able to do coverage now, yeah, that's surprising. Alright, let's see what David Reimer said. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. He's got a long voice message, so just play it.
Yeah, I might just stick with the custom RTMP. It's not that big of a deal, plus it allows for more customization in the stream. But yeah, I'll let you experiment. I'm almost to Paul's Valley. All of Ardmore down to Marietta, they have no power. That last tornado that hit Dixon or whatever must have taken out what was left of the grid in Love County. Yeah, I was probably within a couple miles of 4 or 5 different big tornadoes tonight, but couldn't see them. I felt my ears pop, but now I'm almost to Paul's Valley. I'm gonna get gas. I made it through the Arbuckles barely, driving through rivers. And I'll be home by probably 1:50, and if the storms are being misbehaving still, I'll deal with it. And based on the MD, it looks like they will be.
All right. And David says he'll be home in about 30 minutes. All right, so we have a new outlook. In fact, David is mad. When David is mad, that's not a good thing. Oh, I see why David's mad. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. David's going to be busy. David is going to be busy. I don't know if you're going to be able to sleep. How are you going to be able to sleep, David? Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the latest outlook. That ain't good. There it is, folks. That's the new severe thunderstorm outlook for Sunday. Now today. That's the new severe outlook there. Tornado risk. Northeast Texas into the Piney Woods, a 10% tornado risk. That's heightened. So, yeah. We're going to have issues with severe thunderstorms overnight and into the morning. And then even early tomorrow afternoon, or today, later in the afternoon. 10% hatch of tornadoes. I don't think David's going to be able to do a roundup. I think he's going to have to pretty much pull an all-nighter and do coverage or something. Let's see what he... Jeez, oh man.
What's 9 hours since, what? 9.5 hours since Thursday morning? Now I'm going to make the morning TWR before I go to sleep. I could do that, just schedule it to publish, and then probably get to go to sleep.
Okay. Alright, alright.
The squall line itself should start behaving sooner rather than later. Clearly, it's just being a wind maker now.
Yeah, David also confirms that all the storms that we're looking at right now is just mainly a wind maker. So, a little bit of heightened hail potential, northeast Texas, into the Piney Woods, Brazos Valley. Some tornado potential here. East of Dallas by the morning, late morning into the early afternoon. Arklatex, Piney Woods. So I mean, we could see some spin-up tornadoes, but again, we're going to be mainly talking about QLCS stuff. So Spin-ups might be few and far between, if at all. So yeah, that's your new severe thunderstorm outlook for Sunday, April 28th. Enhanced to level 3 out of 5 risk. There you get Brazos Valley, Piney Woods of Texas, East Texas, Northeast Texas, and the Arklatex. Southeast Oklahoma, Western Arkansas, and Southern Missouri. Slight risk, greater slight risk, I-35 corridor from Belton, Temple, through Waco, Dallas, all the way up toward Kansas City. So, yeah, more severe weather on tap throughout the day today. Okay. Yeah, I don't see a reason for us to continue wall to wall with this activity. As of right now, we'll continue to monitor, but where did that come from? Okay. You can keep an eye on the sky from the comfort of your wherever you are in your cell phone by downloading the free Texas Storm Chasers app. So if we're not here to do coverage, you could always check in with us. You'll also find our latest forecast video from David Reimer, Balding Chief, as well as any storm chasing video, live or past. David's almost home. At this point, I just been kind of letting the coverage go on and on and on, watching this line of storms slowly approach. Now, go ahead and probe. Yeah, the gust front's still out ahead of the storms, but if the storms come back and overlap the line, this fine line, if you will, if that happens, maybe we could become more tornadic again. But as of right now, it's still a wind maker. That's all we're really looking at is wind. And as you heard from David, that's exactly what he just said. Just looking at wind maker right now. Oh, this deal's slowly making its way. The very edge of the storm is just now getting into Wise County, Parker County. I mean, DFW, we still have 90 minutes or more to go until this activity's in town. Nothing particularly strong, destructive. We have a flash flood warning in north central Texas. That would be for northern Montague County. I'm surprised you're hanging out with me this long.
Yeah.
Why? Sleep schedules are so wrecked right now, obviously. But yeah, this activity that's still slowly parading through seems to be undercut, still be fairly good distance behind the lead gust front, the outflow pushing out under and ahead of the storms, undercutting all these updrafts, preventing any big time hail or tornado issues. So it is 1:28 a.m. I'm meteorologist Jason Cooley, filling in for Baldy in Chief David Reimer with TSC, and he's been dealing with tornadoes in Oklahoma. We still have a tornado watch, of course, until 7 a.m. for a lot of North Texas down into Northern Hill Country. But again, as of right now, we're just looking at a wind maker. So 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. We'll keep an eye out for any more enhanced areas that may pop up. So far, so good. I mean, we're behaving relatively speaking because the environment was pretty ripe for tornadoes today across Texas, and the cap held. The cap did not hold in Oklahoma, but the cap held for the majority of Texas, with the exception of those beastly supercells earlier in northwest Texas that produced tornadoes. But other than that, the cap held for pretty much everybody else. Now we just have this good old wind maker undercut by its own outflow, this fine line pushing well out in front of the storms. When you get a line like that, it just your tornado chances really get lower now. This thing could still produce a spin-up tornado, and the spin-up being, again, that QLCS nature of things, could be where we see any little areas of spin along that line that might produce a quick tornado. Spin-ups are usually brief, so that's kind of where that terminology comes from. But we'll keep watching this. That storm front is only just now coming into northwest Parker and portions of Wise County. Yeah. I don't like when it shows that stuff. Can I turn that off? I think I can turn that off. Is it over there? Yeah. That's probably better to do that. Okay. Alright, just some optimization stuff here. Still not seeing anything holy moly guacamole, as Dave would say. The Davidisms, I gotta keep them up. Alright, so folks in Eastland County getting some stronger winds, but nothing crazy. This pretty much pushing out already through Ranger. Heavy rain, lots of lightning. Did I get it? No, I didn't. Maybe I did. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything particularly spooky. So that's a good thing. If I'm not talking about your town, that's certainly a good thing. Now, all you can really do is watch and wait. These coming in DFW here in the next hour and a half. Will it have 40 mile an hour winds? Probably. Will it have 50 mile an hour winds here and there? Will it have 60 mile per hour winds? It could. Isolated areas. Severe warning will probably be placed out in front of these storms for Wise, Parker here in a moment. These storms have picked up speed, so it might reach the DFW metroplex, at least start getting into the metro here in about an hour, actually. Seems like these storms have picked up some speed, so that upper level energy must have finally been coming through, picking up the speed of these storms, so what we expected. But it's all aligned, so this line, again, really just indicates we have a less than tornado potential, more wind potential than anything. So yeah, all we can do is really watch and wait, see what's happening, continue to loop that through, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the chit chat, see what the heck. 700 folks watching on Facebook, so wow. I'm honored that at 1:30 in the morning I have 700 still watching here on Facebook. Lots of stars. I want to thank you all for sending those. I haven't hit you guys up with the gratitude, but Shannon, Paul, stars on Facebook, M.A. Thompson, thank you so much, Rebecca. We're not really here to, beg or, stuff like that. I do thank you all for stars. Of course, we're here to provide that live coverage. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Look at that. 200,000 views on Facebook. That is fantastic. I want to thank you so much. 2,000 views. Wow. That's one of the better ones we've had. And it's all for one tornado warning that got issued for a likely tornado about 10:45 between Anson and Stamford, Texas. Now, I've been live with this goofy layout that probably makes David cry inside. I'm sorry, but yeah, coverage had to be done. Bunch of tornadoes this evening in Oklahoma that he was dealing with, so Merry Christmas. You get me and my little go-to radar scope app, and yeah, at least made it happen. 200,000 views on Facebook. Thank you guys. Yeah, probably like at least dozen dollars in stars. Thank you guys. And then if we look at the YouTubes, how's YouTube growing right now at 1:30 in the morning? Wow. X going crazy, 9,000. Here in a second I'll be seeing over 9,000. Almost 700 on both YouTube channels each. So, that's great. Would love to see y'all subscribe. I know, Jennifer, right? Thank you, Larry. Yep. Agreed. We don't have a whole lot to talk about right now. I could just keep saying 50, 60 mile an hour winds, isolated hail, over and over and over again, but I figure I'd take this time to acknowledge the chat, acknowledge view analytics, and a little bit of the donation-based stuff too. Of course, I appreciate you guys. I know we're not here to hound you guys or just watch like, oh my god, look at all this money coming in. No, that's not what we do. We're gonna do it whether or not donations are sent, but I do appreciate that, and try to acknowledge when possible. Well, good to know, Larry. If you think so, maybe I'll be able to do more stuff when possible. I don't have infrastructure for it really right now, but if I can help David out, I'm all willing and grateful. I could do this, or I could go into work. It's nice to be able to do stuff at home. Very nice. Very nice. So, yeah, that's great. I mean, 10,000 total views on YouTube. And more. Yeah, cool. Got government conspiracy people, of course. Thank you, moderators. So I'm just kind of looking at how we've been doing and trying to decide what we're going to do when David gets home. Are we going to let him talk, or are we just going to play it by ear? Let's see. Did you want to do coverage, David? I'm just kind of talking about a handful of severe warnings at this point. We got a tornado watch, but I mean, Wow, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Texas right now. So, I mean, did you want to do coverage? I'm not sure. We're kind of watching it. We might have to just come back if anything crazy happens later on at this point. Or we could do the thing where it just loops the radar for a little bit and then you break in if you want to do that. But I know you want to sleep soon because you've been up and at 'em. Yeah, we only have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and even those I'm kind of like, marginal. I mean, 40-mile-an-hour winds, yeah, definitely. 50-mile-an-hour winds, maybe. Stretching it. 60-mile-an-hour winds, really like the severe level. Did you want to go past me or something? Are you waiting on me? Do you want to go up? What are you doing?
Yeah, if it continues past when David gets home, I will.
Yeah. Oh, our little baby newborn is sleeping so well. Sleeps like 22 hours a day. That just means she's going to grow. Alright, so guys, I just want to say thank you for sticking around watching this. We have line. It's a line of storms. The more liney you get, the less spinny you see. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Oh, look, David responded.
I'm fine. Either way, if you want to end it and something happens, we can come back. Brad can come back. You can go to bed. I can come back and deal with it. That's fine. That way I can put together the TWR for later this morning.
We have a lot of people that live in DFW. That's our biggest viewer populace, DFW. We have a tornado watch in DFW, and it goes until 7 a.m. I am fully aware of all of that. However, as I just mentioned, this line of storms could not be any more of a line. I mean, it's a straight line. That is like the least tornadic line I've ever seen in my life. At least for entering a tornado watch. Now I'm exaggerating. I've seen silly storms get, a tornado warning or a tornado watch. Now I'm not seeing any robust tornado potential here right now. Kind of looking here. I mean, we've got time. We've got plenty of time. We've been burning the last 2.5 hours without a tornado warning in Texas. Just chit-chatting, basically. We still have 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma. Haskell, McIntosh, Muskogee, Cherokee, and Delaware counties. Still an observed tornado warning there in the Cherokee, Delaware counties, Oklahoma. So our friends up north, might have made a couple extra viewers just doing a little bit of talking about Oklahoma. Now, it's not something we're going to make a habit of, but it's just the case of they're the neighbors to the north, and there was kind of a little bit of a heightened tornado event with destructive tornadoes injuring people. And yeah, we do have somewhat of appreciable portion of folks that are from Oklahoma that tune in, so my apologies if that was disturbing to anybody. Just talking about a different state than Texas, but it's kind of one of those passing note things. Anyways, we still only have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Texas, and that is for this portion of the line that's west of the DFW metroplex. So again, 50-mile-an-hour winds, maybe 60. Not even hail at this point, guys. Maybe some peas. But if we're only doing 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds, no hail, no tornadoes, I'd call that a good day for being late April in Texas. And tornado watch, huge tornado parameters and stuff like that. I mean, we've lucked out here in the state of Texas. So if this continues to behave itself over the next few minutes, I, unlike a lot of you, will be headed to bed. David Reimer's going to be pulling up in his driveway. He's going to be up making that weather roundup in the morning. So expect another special weekend edition of the Texas Weather Roundup in the next few hours from David Reimer. Because after all that coverage and chasing tornadoes in Oklahoma, he's still dedicated to making a roundup video. You can access that on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel where it will be premiered. You can tune in to that premiere if you're an early bird. I don't know why I'd be talking to you now and you'd be awake for the premiere in a few hours, but hey, maybe some of you are nocturnal. But for future reference, those weather roundups come out in the morning hours, usually premiered around 6 or 7 o'clock on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. That is pretty much the feature for Texas content on a daily basis, the forecast content and such. So if you don't follow the Texas Weather Center YouTube, if you're not subscribed over there, make sure you do check it out, subscribe, become a member if you want to become a part of the even tighter community. So there's some perks there with the memberships if you want to join, if you want to support. We don't really talk about it, but since I've been here for 3 hours blabbing, I figured I'd throw it out there to you guys if interested. I've seen 16 people sign up in the last 2 days, so we appreciate all of you guys. We'll be setting up those perks here after we get through with this severe weather, just that the additional perks, acknowledgement and interaction and stuff like that. We'll be getting to all that. And then of course there are a couple other super awesome things with that membership that you can sign up for. Anyway, Tornado Watch still in effect until 7 a.m. Again, Tornado Watch means the ingredients are there for tornadoes in the future. No tornado warnings and no severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Texas right now. So that's as good as a reason as ever to go ahead and say farewell. We have 0 warnings in the state of Texas. We have a flash flood warning. Okay, so I lied. Northern Montague County, flash flood warning. So I'm not going to go wall to wall for half a county of flash flood warning, which is probably not really affecting a lot of people anyway. It's near the Red River Valley. So sorry, Nakona. I'm going to go ahead and say my farewells. And again, that tornado watch means that ingredients will be favorable over the next 4 hours, 5 hours. But again, with this pencil, the straight as an arrow complex of storms means, well, probably not going to have any spinnies, at least in the next hour, unless something crazy happens, and then which David Reimer he'll be home by then to help you guys out with that. So yeah, I dare say we're gonna be okay. This outflow is kind of outrunning the storm continuously, so I mean, I can't rule out a tornado over the next few hours. In the short term, I just don't see it happening. And at this point, it's been 3 hours since we've had a tornado in Texas, and I've just talked your ear off about musings and Oklahoma tornadoes and severe stuff. So, 10 to 2 in the morning, April 28th, no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings, so nothing in action, nothing happening. A lot of rain, thunder and lightning, maybe some blustery winds out of the west here with this storm, upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour. But nothing super duper in the state of Texas to talk about. Besides those, the watches just mean things could happen down the road. Nothing happening now. Only one tornado warning in Oklahoma, and that's Delaware County. Again, that's so far away from Texas, obviously, so, not really anything we're going to talk about. But our thoughts and prayers to friends up north. We have quite the cleanup in some places like Sulphur, Oklahoma, Ardmore, places that us storm chasers routinely travel through, because that's kind of the heart of Tornado Alley. Power outages galore, debris on roadways, flipped semis, flooded roadways. It's a mess up there. Luckily for Texas, not too messy. So with that, all I can do is sign off and put this talk show to rest. I want to thank you guys. So many people watched this stream tonight. I'm honored and somewhat amazed. I'm like, wow. Glad I could help you guys out. Hopefully helped out a little bit, at least help you guys understand the situation at hand and let you guys know about Oklahoma issues too, just as, kind of that extra content. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have hung up, honestly. I mean, not a whole lot I could have said about Texas, but, there's some pretty serious stuff happening in Oklahoma, so, of course, in passing, mention that, so. You guys have a good night. Sleep well. David Reimer will be making that weather roundup video here in the next few hours, so check that out when you guys wake back up later on. And he'll do coverage if he has to do coverage later on down the road. But we'll watch and we'll wait and we'll see. So, again, thank you guys. Y'all have a super duper awesome night. God bless.